Well, next week in Destiny 2 is looking pretty good with the addition of Master Vow the Disciple raids. Plus we've got the bonus Nightfall loot dropping all week, which means it's going to be a great time to get that Nightfall loot. Well, Trials also returns after a week off, plus we've got some new seasonal challenges and a preview of the patch notes related to a release coming on Tuesday. Well, if you're new around here, I find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. And roughly 98% of viewers who watch This Week in Video Games aren't subscribed, so subscribe today and never miss an update. Well, first of all, let's have a look at the highlights of next week in Destiny 2. So we've got the Master Vow the Disciple raid arrives, we've got the Glassway Nightfall that is coming back, and you can earn bonus Nightfall rewards all week long, and Showdown comes to the Crucible. Well, let's kick off with Master Vow the Disciple raid. So starting on Tuesday, players are going to be able to jump into the Master version of Vow the Disciple raid, and you can of course find that on the Throne World. So Bungie let us know a few details in their This Week at Bungie update this week, and they said the following. So before diving into what's next for the activities like raids and dungeons, we did want to shout that players can finally take Rolk's kicks to the face at an even higher ferocity, because Master Vow the Disciple is dropping next week. For the details regarding the ramped up difficulty, Guardians should know that the power level is 1580 with a seasonal cap at plus 30, and for those challenge hardy players, competing challenges at Master difficulty will offer progress towards the raid seal, and each encounter completed also has the chance to drop adept versions of the given weapon for the raid. So it's a neat way to up the ante a bit when taking on the more challenging aspects of Destiny 2. Master Vow the Disciple drops next week on April the 19th, so make sure to knock out any leveling needed and get that gear in tip-top shape, because Master difficulty is never something to take lightly. Well, next up we've got the Nightfall for the week. So slightly surprising news from Friday's Next Week in Destiny 2 message in-game saw the Glassway pop up instead of the scheduled Lightblade. There has been speculation that the new strikes have been a bit bugged, so the Glassway has gone into the rotation instead of Lightblade, but we are going to have to wait and see. Glassway is one of the toughest Nightfalls out there, especially on Grandmaster difficulty, so to soften the blow a little bit, Bungie has added double Nightfall rewards all week long, so this is going to be a really good week to get all of that Nightfall loot. In regards to the weapons this week, it should be the legendary sniper Silicon Neuroma. And if you're looking for a god roll Silicon Neuroma, I can recommend for PvE Hammerforged Rifling, Appended Mag, Triple Tap, and Firing Line would be a decent roll. So Triple Tap, you get rapidly landing precision hits will return 1 round to the magazine. And with Firing Line, this is excellent, so the weapon deals increased precision damage when you're near 2 or more allies. That's going to be great in Nightfalls or raids. If you're looking for a PvP role, Hammerforged Rifling, High Caliber Round, Snapshot Sights and Opening Shot would be the best role. So Snapshot Sights gives you faster time to aim down sights, and Opening Shot improves the accuracy and the range on the opening shot of the attack. Well, next up, let's have a look at the seasonal challenges in week 9 of Season of the Risen. So we've got 6 challenges this week. First up, we've got Propaganda Mastery. So complete the Vox Obscura Exotic Quest on Master difficulty and earn the Masterwork Catalyst. Then we've got Undying Legends, so complete Asylum's Battleground on Legend difficulty without dying. And we've got the Armory Wide Calibration, so calibrate kinetic, energy and power weapons and bonus progress against champions. So we've got Void Gambit, defeat targets with void abilities, and bonus progress is granted for defeating Guardians. Then we got Trial by Firing Squad, so win multiple rounds in Trials of Osiris. I would imagine you will get a Trials weapon for completing that one. Then we got Void Vanguard, so defeat combatants with void effects in Vanguard playlists. And that is it for your seasonal challenges in week 9. We're looking at the Crucible next week. In terms of the rotating playlist, Showdown is coming back to the Crucible. And of course, Trials of Osiris is back next week, given Iron Banner and Lord Saladin have left the tower. And we do have an interesting patch note related to Trials of Osiris later on. So last time Trials was around, you could get that Adept Shara's Wrath after you got 7 wins. And unfortunately, it looks like Bungie has fixed that bug. Seems like a shame. It really incentivized people going into Trials of Osiris. But there you go. I guess we'll just have to keep giving feedback to Bungie. Well, next up, let's have a look at the Eververse Bright Dust items for the week. So first of all, we got the Sterling Arbor Projection. This one is a Ghost Projection. It's a legendary version, and that will cost you 1500 Bright Dust. Then we got Sand and Sun. That is an ornament for Traveller's Chosen. and that one is going to set you back 1250 Bright Dust. Then we got the Homespun Boots. That's an ornament for the Warlock Boots of the Assembler. That'll cost you 1500 Bright Dust. Then we got the Trace of the Throne. That has an ornament for the Titan Sighting Rampants, and that'll cost you 1500 Bright Dust too. And then we got the Tequili Lee. That is a Hunter ornament for the Star Eater Scales. Again, that'll cost you 1500 Bright Dust. We got the Synchrotron Advancer. That is an exotic ship. That is 2000 Bright Dust. And we got the Bel Air Shell. That is 2850 Bright Dust. And that one is an exotic ghost shell. We got the 4 Squad Stance. That is a rare emote that will set you back 400 Bright Dust. And then we got the Glimmering Gunslinger. That is 3250 Bright Dust. And that one is an exotic emote. We've also got Heat Shielded. That is a shader. That'll cost you 300 Bright Dust. And then Signal Intercept. That is a transmat effect. And that'll cost you 450 Bright Dust. We've also got Knucklebug. That is an exotic ship. That'll set you back 2000 Bright Dust. And finally, we got Turn the Tables. There's an exotic emote, and that is 3250 Bright Dust. Well, finally today, let's have a look at the patch notes preview. So there is an update coming out on Tuesday, and there are a few little bug fixes here and quality of life improvements, so let's run through them now. First of all, we got the Wellspring attack. So fixed an issue that could cause teams to incorrectly wipe during a Master Wellspring when an objective is completed, with only a few seconds left on the timer. And added a failsafe so that carryable objects in both the ritual and boss phases of a Wellspring won't spawn out of bounds. Then we've got the Altar of Reflection, so fixed an issue where players could not complete the evidence board quest, the Altar Reflect, due to the Altar of Reflection not showing up properly, so that's more like the Altar of Reappearance. Then we got the Vow of the Disciple raid, so fixed an issue where Rolk would suddenly become shy and no longer transition back to his initial phase properly, effectively blocking progress. And fixed an issue where the Caretaker's Dynamic Health Threshold UI would not consistently display for all players. So then we got Trials of Osiris, a fixed issue where players were not receiving the expected rewards on post-flawless wins. Well, that is one way to put it, Bungie, but thanks very much for the Adept Sharer's Wrath anyway. Next up, we got some fixes for text chat. So virtual keyboard support is now available for console text chat. Improvements have been made to make the text chat messages more legible, and added a system message text field that is italicized to display system text, and local chat now has an orange tint to it for differentiation, and no longer is the white colour, and clearer chat colour distinction for in-game colourblind settings. Then we got fixes for weapon crafting, so added a consumable item that allows for viewing of element counts, and this can be acquired through the relic conduit, and it's not a limited item, you can discard it and reacquire it at any time. Then we got fixes for artifacts, so players with all 25 artifact mods unlocked can still reset the artifact for no additional glimmer cost. And once all 25 artifact mods are unlocked, resets from that point on are free. Then we got fixes for abilities, so fixed an issue where Devour would sometimes grant less buff time if multiple targets were killed in quick succession, and added aim assist target to Axiom Bolt secondary projectiles to help players hit bolts that are chasing both themselves and fellow allies. Well, let me know in the comments what you think of next week in Destiny 2 and also what you plan to do next week. Well, that is it for this look at next week in Destiny 2, and as always, thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games, or you can check me out on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.